We're in 2025 where you can literally pre-order a humanoid robot for around $20,000. Don't forget subscribe. And Tesla's Optimus Gen 3 is expected to hit that price next year. Robots are quickly becoming the next big thing in consumer tech, just like smartphones once were. But here's the twist. There are still robots so rare, so advanced, that even billionaires can't buy them. From Robonaut, NASA's humanoid astronaut working aboard the International Space Station, to DARPA's Nano Hummingbird, a spy drone so tiny it flaps its wings like a real bird. Hey guys, Alfie here. Today we're diving into 7 robots, so exclusive even billionaires can't buy them. So, let's start. Let's start with Robonaut, NASA's humanoid space worker. Robonaut 2 literally flew to the International Space Station back in 2011 as part of the STS-133 mission, making it the first humanoid robot ever to operate in space. The whole point of Robonaut is dexterity that matches or exceeds what a human astronaut in a bulky spacesuit can do. R2's hands have 14 degrees of freedom, with touch sensors built into the fingertips, so it can handle the same tools astronauts use without needing a completely new toolkit designed for robots. Right now, there are 4 different Robonaut versions, each testing different stages of mobility and task handling. Some versions even use Segway platforms for movement. Robonaut operates through telerescence and varying levels of autonomy, which means astronauts or ground control can guide it through delicate repairs while the robot handles the fine motor work. Here's the thing though, Robonaut exists solely for space missions and research. It's not a product. It's a multi-million-dollar national space infrastructure project that requires launch costs, ISS integration, ground operations, and an entire science program built around it. You don't buy access to Robonaut, you need a space station first. Do you think NASA should ever make a version of Robonaut for Earth? Maybe for deep sea or disaster rescue? Drop your thoughts below. I'm curious what you think. Now let's get into something that sounds like science fiction, is insect-sized spy robots. When people talk about these, they usually mean the Nano-Air vehicle program. And the most famous result is the AeroVironment Nano Hummingbird. This thing has a wingspan of just 6.3 in and weighs 19 gr, lighter than an AA battery. Unlike normal drones with propellers, it uses flapping wings just like a real hummingbird. Those wings provide both lift and steering, so changing wing motion changes direction. It flies around 11 mph with endurance up to 11 minutes and carries a tiny onboard camera that sends live video back to the operator. But here's the thing. These are military research systems. Most details, performance data, and follow-on platforms are classified or restricted. You can't buy a Nano Hummingbird like a consumer drone. Any modern successors are tied to US defense export laws and security clearances. A billionaire can buy an expensive racing drone. They cannot buy a Pentagon F-fueled insect-sized spy platform. Now, let's talk about Astrobe, which might be the coolest robots you've never heard of. Picture 3 smart floating cubes about the size of a shoebox, silently gliding around the International Space Station, doing chores so astronauts can focus on actual science. These 3 robots are named Honey, Bumble, and Queen. And they're basically flying personal assistants for astronauts. But here's the crazy part. In microgravity, Astrobe doesn't need wheels or legs. It uses tiny electric fans and air jets to push itself in any direction. The robots constantly scan the station interior, using stereo cameras and depth sensors, comparing what they see to a digital map, so they always know exactly where they are. It operates in 3 modes: fully autonomous, where it follows planned paths and records video independently; supervised mode, where astronauts give commands on a tablet and teleoperated from Earth, where researchers literally drive the robot from mission control with signal delay. Forget buying a Tesla robot. These things don't even live on Earth. To own an Astrobe, you'd first need your own space station, which puts the price tag somewhere north of 100 billion. Before we dive further, make sure you're subscribed, because next week, we're revealing the most powerful humanoid robots ever built. You don't want to miss it. Alright, now back to the video. Let's talk about China's mechanical yak, the largest military bionic robot China has ever created. This thing is absolutely monstrous. Inspired by yaks that thrive in harsh mountain environments, the mechanical yak can carry 160 kilos of cargo over 350 lb and move at speeds up to 10 km/h through terrain that would destroy conventional vehicles. It traverses steppes, trenches, cliffs, muddy roads, grasslands, deserts, snowfields, forests, high plateaus, and remote border zones. It's equipped with advanced sensors and 12 joint modules that let it walk, sprint, turn, jump, and dash with incredible stability. The Chinese military designed this specifically for logistics support in areas where trucks can't go and where sending human soldiers would be too dangerous or exhausting. The mechanical yak represents a fundamental shift in how militaries think about logistics and reconnaissance in extreme terrain, and it's exclusively reserved for military operations. Let's talk about FEDOR, Russia's humanoid space robot. Russia literally put this humanoid in the commander seat of a Soyuz spaceship. FEDOR stands for Final Experimental Demonstration Object Research, and it's a full-size humanoid standing about 6 feet tall and weighing over 200 lb, 100 lb with full equipment. It started as a rescue robot and evolved into an experimental cosmonaut. FEDOR can operate in avatar mode, where a human controller wears a motion capture exoskeleton, and the robot mirrors those movements in real time. It can also run semi-autonomous routines like walking, manipulating tools, or performing pre-programmed tasks. Before going to space, demo videos showed FEDOR driving a car, using drills and wrenches, and controversially shooting pistols at a firing range as a test of fine motor control. In August 2019, FEDOR flew on Soyuz MS-14 to the ISS as the only crew member on board with no human astronauts. On the station, researchers tested it for using tools inside the Russian segment, interacting with control panels and tasks that could one day extend to Space W walk assistance or hazardous operations. FEDOR isn't just a robot, it's an entire Russian space program wearing a metal body. The full system includes the robot control exoskeleton training facilities and integration with Soyuz and ISS systems. Then there's Atlas, Boston Dynamics' flagship humanoid, originally funded by DARPA for disaster response in places too dangerous for humans. The fully electric version, unveiled in 2024, uses electric actuators instead of hydraulics, making it lighter, cleaner, and more efficient. It runs advanced model predictive control and whole body optimization, constantly simulating its next few steps and adjusting to keep stable during dynamic moves. You've seen the viral videos running over uneven terrain, jumping between platforms, doing parkour and backflips, handling boxes and tools. In 2024, Boston Dynamics announced Atlas is being redesigned as a real industrial worker with pilot deployments planned in Hyundai factories. The goal isn't just flashy parkour, but tasks like picking and placing heavy parts, working in tight spaces on assembly lines, and doing motions that are hard or unsafe for human bodies. But Atlas is a research platform, not a commercial product. Boston Dynamics doesn't list a price, and they only partner with select labs and industrial customers. Even if you could pay for the hardware, they're not in the business of shipping Atlas to private collectors. You've seen the clips on YouTube, but here's the reality. The only way you get Atlas is if Boston Dynamics decides you are their research project. Next up is Curiosity rover, the Mars rover that's been rolling around the red planet since August 2012. This mobile laboratory launched from Cape Canaveral in 2011, and it's massive, twice as long and 5 times as heavy as previous Mars rovers. Curiosity inherited the 6-wheel drive and rocker bogie suspension from earlier generations, plus cameras mounted on a mast to help mission teams navigate. But unlike its predecessors, Curiosity contains an entire onboard laboratory for analyzing Martian soil and rocks. NASA engineered it to roll over obstacles up to 65 cm high and traverse about 200 miles per day across Martian terrain. It gets electrical power from a radioisotope thermoelectric generator, basically a nuclear battery. Obviously, you can't purchase Curiosity because it's currently operating on another planet. But even if NASA built a duplicate, the launch costs, mission operations, and decades of engineering make this completely inaccessible to private buyers. Out of these 7 ultra-exclusive robots, which one blew your mind the most? Space, military, or industrial? Let's see what the AI Nexus community thinks below. So, there you have it. 7 robots that redefine exclusivity. These aren't machines you can buy. They're national infrastructure projects, military research platforms, and space exploration tools that exist in exactly one place doing jobs nothing else can do. If you think that's crazy, wait until you hear this. What if I told you that right now in labs across China, engineers are building robots so lifelike that you couldn't tell them apart from a real person standing next to you? We're not talking about clunky metal machines or obviously synthetic faces. These are androids with skin that moves like yours. Eyes that track your emotions and expressions so nuanced they'll make your spine tingle when looking surprise. We're talking about micro movements in her eyebrows, slight twitches at the corners of her mouth, the kind of details you'd only notice in an actual person having an actual thought. A head form equipped her with advanced facial recognition technology that lets her identify people in a crowd and adjust her responses based on who she's talking to. Imagine walking into a room and having a robot remember not just your name, but your last conversation, your preferences, maybe even your mood from the way you walked in. Xuan represents more than engineering prowess. She's a statement that the uncanny valley, that creepy zone where robots look almost but not quite human, might finally be behind us. Her silicone skin mimics real dermal layers, complete with subsurface light scattering that makes her complexion glow like living tissue under different lighting conditions. This isn't a robot wearing a mask. This is biomimicry taken to its absolute limit. Now let's talk about Una from UB Robotics in Shenzhen. This is where it gets fun. Una isn't just reading scripts, she's connected to big AI models so she can talk in a smooth, natural way. Ask her about the news, school topics, or the weather, and she gives answers that make sense. UB built Una with many sensors. She doesn't only hear you, she also watches your body language and listens to your tone. If you sound upset, she calms down. If you're excited, she matches your energy. She can switch languages in the middle of a chat. Una is made for service jobs. Hotels, museums, and support desks. Soon, you might check in at a hotel and talk to a concierge who looks real, never gets tired, remembers your food needs, and speaks 17 languages. This could change a lot of jobs, and it's happening right now, and this is only the beginning. Tap subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. Alright, back to the story. Next up is Shiaan from Digit. She's all about the eyes. That's where connection happens. Her eyes don't just slide left and right. They make the tiny quick jumps your eyes make when you switch focus. When she looks at you, the gaze locks in. It feels real. Digit also taught her to read feelings. She watches your face, listens to your voice, and guesses your mood. Smile, and she smiles back. Look sad, and she softens like a friend who cares. Your turn. Would you trust a robot that can read your mood? Yes or no? Comment your thoughts below. Shiaan already works in elder care homes across China, keeping lonely seniors company, telling stories and listening. Wild, right? We're building machines that can comfort people, and for many families, that help is priceless. Now jump to Dalian and meet X-Robots. Think of them as a whole cast, not just one star. Different faces, different voices, different personalities for different jobs. Their top models can pour tea with steady hands, chat politely, and keep eye contact all at once. The secret is a modular design. Swap a face, change a voice, tune the behavior, and it's ready for a clinic, a store, or a school. In one demo, an EX Robots android did traditional Chinese calligraphy so smoothly that master artists stopped to watch. Art on the paper, emotion on the face, mechanical precision plus human-like reaction. It looks like the future building itself right in front of you. But here's where things get really interesting with Annie from Aniwit. Because she's not just realistic, she's adaptive. Aniwit built Annie with continuous learning capabilities, powered by neural networks that evolve based on every interaction she has. This means Annie today is literally different from Annie yesterday. She learns your communication style, your preferences, your quirks, and she adjusts her personality to create more meaningful interactions over time. Her facial expressions are driven by dozens of microactu beneath her silicone skin, allowing for movement resolution so fine that she can express complex emotions like skepticism, nostalgia, or playful sarcasm. Aniwit reported that Annie can produce over 60 distinguishable emotional states through combinations of facial movements, head tilts, and eye behaviors. She's been tested in educational settings where students reported feeling more comfortable asking her questions than they did asking human teachers, specifically because she never judges, never gets impatient, and remembers every previous interaction to build on past lessons. We're watching the creation of artificial beings that might become genuinely better at certain aspects of human connection than actual humans. And that's both fascinating and deeply unsettling. Now meet Moren from Imago Robotics, spelled AIMOGA in some materials, and she represents the cutting edge of mobility combined with realistic appearance. Most humanoid robots we've talked about have impressive faces but limited body movement. Moren breaks that limitation. Imo built her with full body articulation. She can walk with natural gait, gesture with her hands in fluid motions, and even dance with coordinated movements that would make early robotics engineers weep with joy. Her face maintains realistic expressions, even while her body is in motion, which is exponentially harder than it sounds. Try talking naturally while running, and you'll understand the engineering challenge. Moren has been showcased at technology exhibitions across Asia, where she greets visitors, answers questions, and physically guides people through presentations, all while maintaining the appearance and mannerisms of a professional human host. She stands at about 165 centimeters tall and weighs approximately 45 kilos, making her proportionally similar to an average human female. The attention to detail extends beyond just appearance. Her synthetic skin maintains consistent temperature through thermoregulation systems that prevent her from feeling cold or obviously artificial to the touch. Finally, let's talk about something completely different with the Origin M1 from Aheadform, the same company that created Xuan. But Origin M1 isn't a full humanoid. It's a compact robotic head, and somehow that makes it even more fascinating. Aheadform designed Origin M1 as a modular solution for applications where you need realistic human interaction but don't require a full body. Imagine video conferencing with what looks like a completely real person, except it's an AI represented by this incredibly lifelike head that maintains perfect eye contact, nods at appropriate moments, and displays genuine seeming reactions to everything you say. The Origin One packs all the expressive capability of their full androids into a compact form factor that could sit on a desk or mount on a kiosk. This opens up applications in customer service, education, and telepresence that would be prohibitively expensive with full humanoids. The head contains over 30 points of articulation in the face and neck, allowing for subtle movements that make interactions feel surprisingly natural despite the obvious absence of a body. Aheadform is positioning this as the accessible entry point into humanoid robotics. And the implications for how we think about digital representation and remote presence are genuinely revolutionary. So here we are standing at the threshold of a future where the robots walking among us won't announce themselves with mechanical voices or jerky movements. They'll smile at you, remember your name, and make you feel seen in ways that challenge our fundamental understanding of what it means to be human. China isn't just building impressive technology, they're forcing us to confront questions we've been postponing for decades. When a machine can comfort you, understand you, and interact with you in ways indistinguishable from a person, what does that mean for society, for work, for connection itself? These 7 androids aren't just engineering marvels, they're mirrors reflecting back our own humanity. And what we see there might change. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please smash that like button, share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll never miss a future update. We've got a lot more exciting tech stories coming your way. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.